well known to all of us and well loved as well. Mr. Jonathan Frakes, who played Will Riker on The Next Generation, the Next Generation movies, and by God, he's done so many other things, and I'm sure he'll tell you about it. Mr. Jonathan Frakes.
Sam Ash was kind enough to donate a trombone, which I know you're very excited about. So nice to get a reception like that. Is all well here? Yeah. Beautiful and talented Denise Pookie Yarbin here? Yes? Yes. She tell any lies about any of us? No. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I will tell you a few stories about Denise. Best dancer on the bridge. And the best ass. Whoa! Next to LeVar. In this box we have a trombone. I didn't used to be able to do this. Things have changed. I told you about the first convention I ever did. It was many years ago, obviously. And the show had just come on the air, and all of you were very skeptical about why there was a Next Generation, because everyone was loyal to Kirk and Spock and to the original Star Trek, and all things Star Trek were not to be messed with. And I was standing in the dealer's room with great trepidation, very nervous, dead of winter, Syracuse, New York. And to add insult to injury, I was standing by the dealer's table that was selling the action figures, and they had, those are the younger, thinner version of all of us. And they had, Pookie, Denise, Lieutenant Yar for $40, and it had this cool sort of limited die-lot Data for $50, and Captain Picard's for $60, and at the end of the table there's a sign that says, buy any action figure, get Riker free. Somewhat humbling, but carry on. Now, my understanding is that we're... Now, Bob, don't mess with me. I'm on a roll here. We're auctioning this off? So I'm going to sign Bill Shatner's name on this. Because as we know, there's nothing that Shatner won't do. Have you seen the game show? Have you seen the new game show? That's our shameless captain. Star of Generations, the great Star Trek film about two captains in search of one good hairpiece. Just kidding. Just kidding. Put that in there. You put that in there like that. This thing on? Ready? Yep. Yeah. Thank you very much! The gum there. Don't forget to pick that up later. That'll be big on eBay. That was Q's gum. DNA. Sounds good. Free horn. Old Baldy. Send me one of those whatever that's called, of him conducting the Michigan band in a rendition of the Star Trek theme.
Oh, number one, I think you'd enjoy this, yes. I know I love the trombone.
That's what Patrick used to do. This is a perfect place to do it, too.
Patrick used to sit up in the captain's chair like this.
Commander Will Riker used to sit over here like this. The beautiful and talented and full-breasted Marina Sirtis sat over here like this. And when we were rocketed with phaser fire from opposing ships, Marina would rock around and her hair would be perfect. And her breasts would heave. And she would look and she'd make sure her hair was perfect and her makeup looked great. And she would rock around. And Riker used to sit over in this chair over here. He used to throw himself around the bridge like this, and he'd fall around the bridge. And in the middle, the ever-collected, ever-cool Patrick Stewart
Would hold on to the chair.
And here's what I used to hear under his breath.
Oh, Jonathan. 25 years in the Royal Shakespeare Company.
True story. Another true story. Do you remember Will Wheaton, who used to come and ruin our day? Smarter than everybody on the ship. So what if he's 13? We saw Will Wheaton grow up in this show, did we not? And part of his growing up, for better or for worse, he received his driver's license. And because he was a big successful TV star, he was able to buy a car. So I'm walking back from work one day. Will Wheaton, who's not my height, but weighs 30 pounds, but he was 6'4". And we're walking back to the garage, to the car park, to the garage where our cars were. And he said, "Hey, you know, Frakes, I can tell by the music that comes out of the dressing room and by the clothes that you wear and stuff. You used to be cool, didn't you?" Teenager. Very true story. Somewhat depressing, but true. One more true story I'll share with you, which you may remember from the episode where we were dressed in those silly Merry Men outfits. Cupid, I think it was called. Yeah. I had a fight scene with some stupid stuntman. Oh, some wonderful stuntman. And we staged the fight, and he had a big iron sword. And I had a big staff, as I recall. Whenever I was playing Little John. Sure. Anyway, so we staged it where he comes over here like this, and I throw him back into the audience like that, and then he comes around on the other side of the castle, and I meant to throw him back into the castle that way. And he comes down the middle, and I'm supposed to knock him on his ass. Obviously, Riker looks very heroic. Stuntman takes the hit. Rehearse it, rehearse it, rehearse it. All's well with the world. Now, I change over to my little balsa wood staff, so it looks safe. You think the stuntman's supposed to change over to his rubber sword, in case there's any issue. Stuntman forgets to change. He stays with the big iron sword. I've gone to the balsa wood staff. So he comes around like this, and I throw him back like that, and he comes around to the other side, and I throw him back like that, and he comes down the middle, and crack, right through the balsa wood sword, right into my eye. Blood, not pretty, hand, fall down on the ground. My friend, the director, Cliff Bull, says, "Oh, it's okay. We got the shot. We can take Frakes to the hospital now." So it's Friday night. I go to an emergency room in Hollywood. I realize I still have on those silly curl-toed shoes and a little felt hat. And I'm lying on the gurney like this, and the doctor's coming down to stitch me up with a little thing like that. Nobody said a word to me. Not a clue. Hollywood. Just like I pictured it. You don't have any questions, do you? Oh, wait! Let me shamelessly promote what's about to come up that I'm involved in before I start talking Star Trek. December 3rd, TNT is a wonderful movie I directed called The Librarian, starring Noah Wiley, our good friend from DR. Bob Newhart, one of the funniest living humans. Jane Curtin of Conehead fame. Olympia Dukakis, a wonderful Academy Award-winning actress, directed by Jonathan Frakes. 8 o'clock, TNT, with any number of what they laughingly refer to as encore performances. Reruns, we call them. I just got off the phone with the beautiful and talented Marina Sirtis, who sends her love and wonders why she hasn't been invited. You know she has a little dog. You know about Marina's little dog? A little, looks like a rat. It's not really a dog. It's about this big, and it smells, and it's blind, and it's greasy, and it's really better for, like, drop kicking than it is. But, you know, she loves her little ski loggy. And on one of the only days that it ever rained in LA, she brought ski loggy to work. And she brings it into the makeup trailer. And big old stupid dwarf Michael Dorn, Turtlehead and I are standing there. Marina brings the dog. He said, "You look cute, that's little ski loggy, ski loggy, ski loggy." Oh, ski loggy is a little wet, Marina. So we pick up ski loggy, put him right in the microwave to dry him off. 90 seconds, no problem. I'm just kidding. Another thing to look out for that I directed is called Masters of Science Fiction. This one stars some fabulous actors. John Hurt, the Elephant Man. The wonderful Brian Dennehy, who you probably also know. And the male lead from Desperate Housewives, the plumber, Mr. Jamie Denton, who has the privilege of having slept with most of whatever that lane is called. And written by an old Star Trek name, who you may or may not know, a writer named Harlan Ellison. This show is called The Discarded, Masters of Science Fiction, hosted by Stephen Hawking. And it'll be on ABC 10 o'clock, probably after the first of the year. Shameless plugs are now complete. On with the show. Questions? Sir.
Now, this is the second librarian movie that you've done, right?
This is the first librarian movie that I've done. It's the second librarian movie that Noah's done. Produced by Dean Devlin of Independence Day and Godzilla and The Patriot and big movies. This is already out on DVD. Oh, I don't know if it's in the store on DVD, but it will be out on DVD as a... You're a good promoter for me. Yeah. It'll be out on DVD probably soon after the reruns. Well done. Nice plug. Yes. Hi. I happen to be married to one of the great actors of our time, a wonderful actress named Jeannie Francis, who recently returned to General Hospital to celebrate her 25th anniversary to Luke! Excuse me, was that me? Did I use my outside voice? I apologize. 25 years she's been married to that guy. Thank God he got rid of that Jewish afro, but he's got a good look going now. Anyway, all levity aside, she was spectacular in her return, and very painful to watch as a husband. My daughter, who's 9, was terrified and couldn't watch it. My son was fascinated by it, but I think that Jeannie hopefully will get her Emmy this year for that kind of work. She was fabulous. Now, what about the rumors of the Star Trek movie? Should we talk about that briefly? I thought that might be of interest. Do most people sit up here and talk and not wander around so much? Yeah. Shall I? Moving target. Oh.
Jonathan. Pontiac and American car. I have never, in my 30 years in the theatre, been treated like this.
So easy with that phony English accent. Too bad he couldn't find another job, huh? second franchise. He and Serene. Okay. Now, J.J. Abrams of Lost fame, yes? I happen to be a huge Lost fan. I think Lost is a great show. I think J.J. Abrams is a genius. I think hopefully, that sort of couches it. I believe that if the franchise goes with him, it'll be in good hands. The rumors I have heard are that it is going to be a prequel, that is be a Starfleet Academy story, which we've all also been told. Kirk and Spock in their formative years, hopefully played by, Matt Damon. But whether or not any of that's true, I wish I could say. I do know that all the people that I work with, including Berman and others, are off the lot, so that Paramount has changed hands in a major way. And as you all know, they sold off all of our stuff at Kirsty's. I hope you all got something out of that. Because God knows we didn't. Oh, so young and so bitter. Anyway, that's the rumor, and I don't know any more than anyone else does, except that J.J. Abrams has got the reins at the moment, and hopefully he'll hire me to direct it. That's it. Yes, sir. I can't sit down.
I just want to say you're an incredibly brave man.
To marry Jeannie? To marry Marina?
No, to let the same woman who wrecked the Enterprise shave you with a straight razor.
Yes. We never, ever should have let Counselor Troy drive the ship. What in God's name were we thinking? But, the second half of your question or observation, pity me, if you will, spending the day naked in a hot tub with Marina. Take after take. People bring you Diet Cokes. Pat your little brow. Marina with her big racket sitting right next to her. A monitor overhead so you can watch to make sure you look good doing whatever you're doing. Marina, I think we should do another take. Okay, Imsadi. It's a dirty job, but as I say, Dirty Jobs is my favorite show. Did you watch that show? What a great concept, and what a charming host. I think he's great. Mike Rowe, thank God you're here in the peanut gallery. Now, I suppose the rest of the people that were meant to be here are at the Eagles game. Is that what's going on? Yes.
Masters of Science Fiction, is this supposed to be a series?
Masters of Science Fiction is an anthology series for ABC, each episode based on a famous sci-fi writer's short story. There's obviously Harlan Ellison. The one that I did was adapted by Harlan and Josh Olson, who wrote History of Violence. There's a Robert Heinlein, there's an Asimov, and one of them stars Sam Waterston. I have the two people I've got. Anne Heche is in one of them. So it's kind of a high-end anthology series. Each show stands on its own. Different directors, everything's different, with the exception of the fact that Hawking is the sort of the bookends. He does the in and out. Yes?
When you did the fact or fiction show for
Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
Yes.
Good evening, my name is Jonathan Frakes. The footage you're about to see is extremely graphic. Go get the children.
Did you ever think when they would have to vote that you would ever see some of those shows and go, you gotta be kidding. There's no way.
I was told never to watch the episodes before I had to do my little walk around judgment in my black suit.
Okay.
So the guys would say, because if I knew how silly some of them were, I would have been even more sarcastic than I was. Not that that's a club that I carry in my bag all the time, but that was a great job beyond belief.
Well, it was
Black suit, teleprompter, walk from A to B, look serious, a lot of hairspray. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Thank you very much. Exit. Come back in, do the next show. Exit. What a gig. It's like doing a cartoon show. But no, they took it off the air.
I was good.
Alien Autopsy, another great television show. We all believed that. That was the same guy who was going to put the OJ show on Fox. I see you.
Oh, okay. My husband wanted to know, because he liked you on Beyond... Oh, sorry. My husband wanted to know, he liked you Beyond Belief on the show. Are you gonna do a show or any similar show to that in the future?
I'm available. I'm searching. Yeah, I'd like to see Beyond Belief come back. The rumor is, here's another way, this is how these rumors get spread. I pass them out to you, and you filter them out to the world. Dick Clark, who produced Beyond Belief, wanted to own the show. The show was on Fox, was it on?
Yes.
The show was on Fox, so Fox owned the show. So after a certain number of years, Fox no longer owns the show. Dick Clark will own the show, and then he'll distribute it himself and make more money because he doesn't have $9 billion. So that's the juice on Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. The footage you're about to see is extremely graphic. In the back. Good seat, huh?
I was just wondering, you put together the Thunderbirds movie, which was, in my opinion, one of the best family movies I've seen in a while.
You and my mom. It was a wonderful family movie, and it was incredibly beat up by the critics, and it should have been released at a different time. And it was clean and funny and action-filled and great for kids of all ages.
One of the things I wondered if Jerry Anderson had anything to do, did he say, let's do it this way or that way? I know
Jerry Anderson?
Yeah.
Jerry Anderson, unfortunately, was mistreated in that mix, and so he didn't promote the film. He, at some point, from what I understand, sold the rights to Thunderbirds to Universal, or to somebody who ended up being bought by Universal, and then Working Title, who also works for Universal, took the rights. So Jerry, who I went over to, whose office I went over to when I was in England, and we were on the same lot at Pinewood. I took the what's it called? The olive branch. Pine branch. So I took the pine branch over. I took the olive branch over to Jerry and said how thrilled I was to be working on this project, that he had created a story that everyone loved and stuff, and he was less than thrilled with the fact that we were going with real life characters and that it was a prequel, and so God bless him. He created a great story. I wish he had been more involved in it.
Since you put out a pretty competent script with that one, is there any chance you'll put out have they asked you to do anything with Space 1999?
Not yet. It's coming, right? That's the next offer. Yes, sir.
I like the Thunderbirds, and I also like the Clock Stoppers.
Yes! What's the Clock Stoppers?
One of the questions I was wanting to ask you about is with First Contact.
Wonderful film. I like that one.
I was wondering how hard it was for you being both director and actor.
In First Contact, generally it's obviously hard to do both jobs. When I was doing Riker and directing, it was a character I played for a long, long time. I was familiar with, I liked. And I was also sort of had a nice group of other directors around whose opinion I trusted. Patrick was there, LeVar was there, and the director of photography, the wonderful Matt Leonetti, who was like a big brother figure, would watch the takes of the stuff that I was in, and I could see him behind the camera, and we had a little, what we thought was a subtle signal when he'd go, which meant, you're not going to like that one. You want to go to take two. So it was complicated, more complicated in the days that I had to do both jobs, and my wife's theory is that Riker was wonderfully relaxed in that movie because I was so completely exhausted. And I'm not sure, part of that is probably true because you stress so much about one thing that the other, and acting should look more relaxed, and Riker, God knows, he used to walk like this, if you recall. What was that about? Look out, here I come. I'm coming in with the right shoulder. He couldn't walk straight, that guy? It was nothing. Commander William T. Riker, I'm going over there. Something about Marina. Remember when I played the other Riker, Thomas Riker? Yeah. Marina, God bless her, and her little dog, who's still in the microwave. She said to me, in all seriousness, you know, Jonathan, I think Thomas Riker is actually cuter than Will. That's my Mzadi. I just walked all over your question, didn't I? Yeah, you can say yes. I can handle it.
The one question I have about Thunderbirds is, was it difficult for you to direct your wife on a couple of scenes there?
I enjoyed directing my wife, especially the scenes she was in, because we had water machines and wind machines. And I'd say, now, look, more wind! No, bring more water! She thought it was too much. What did you think? No, let's go again. More wind, more water, and louder. That was great fun. It was Tim Bevan's idea, actually, which I thought it was a wonderful idea, and I'm glad that the producer came up with it instead of me saying, what about my wife? So that worked out quite well. Yes, sir. Nice beard. Is that your beard? That doesn't come off, does it? Okay.
And you want to tell me I had that like you used to wear?
Uh-huh. But how'd you keep yours black? Why is it mine? You dye it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm thinking of going down that road.
You once told me that I need to play your role for Picard.
It's a nice amalgam of both. Very nice combination.
But I wanted to say that you are a tremendous talent behind the camera.
Thank you very much.
Say that enough.
Maybe the witnesses, your applause. Always acceptable.
I'm wondering, are we going to get a chance to see that talent back in front of the camera again?
I am available. I'm looking for a job. Yeah, I would love. I have a little bit in this librarian, which if you blink, you miss it. But it's out of character, you might say. So keep your eyes peeled. Yes, sir.
I just want to say, I'd like to see a Jonathan Frakes autobiography.
A Jonathan Frakes tell-all book. 25 years with this, or 21 years with the same woman. There's not much to tell. Not much dirt in my life. We've been together 21 years. But I could tell some stories about Patrick. Or Brent. Maybe that's a good idea. Or Shatner. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard the books in the Titan series. I'm wondering, has there been any discussion about possibly doing that as a movie or as a video?
The books in the which series?
Titan series.
Oh, the ship, the Titan? Here's the plan. There's another room where I need you all to spread. Imagine, if you will, in your mind's eye, half-hour sitcom, The Rikers. Their wacky Uncle Data and their little dog Ward. So me and Marina, obviously as the Rikers, on the Titan, and comedy ensues. What do you think? We're available. We've got the concept. Yes, sir.
On various Star Trek series, they did the Mirror Universe episodes where they go into alternate reality and the evil empire.
I never understood those. You like Yesterday's Enterprise? Who understands that show? What time are we in? What about that, what was the name of that episode I had to direct where it was the same thing happened over and over again?
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect. What was up with that?
We liked it.
I liked it too. I thought it was a joke. I thought Brandon Braga and Rick sent me the script as a joke. I got to the end of the teaser. I said, oh, that's cool. It blows up. Got to the end of Act 1, same thing happens. End of Act, I said, you guys, you sent me the same thing. They said, yeah. That's the idea. Good luck. God. Did I blow you off too?
I was just wondering, since you never really did one of those episodes on Next Gen, what do you think Riker would be like in that mirror universe?
What mirror universe is that?
The specific one in which they said the Federation of an Empire. So.
Oh, the evil Riker? Like Lore? He walked like this. evil in Wild Bill Riker. Pretty good guy, generally. All things considered, considering the life he had. And considering how pissed off he was that time that Devanani Lal came on the ship. Started lighting candles, rubbing what's-her-name's back. I never even had breakfast with her. He's in there having dinner with her and he can't... Don't get me started.
You mentioned cartoons. I was wondering how you felt about your voice acting work, such as on Gargoyles.
Gargoyles. That is the best, well, next to Beyond Belief. Doing a cartoon is fabulous. And there were a lot of Star Trek people on Gargoyles. What happened to that show? That was a very good show.
I know.
It was too smart. It was, the writing was too smart. There were too many Shakespeare references, and it was gothic and scope, and... That's what's going to happen with this Masters of Science Fiction. You wait, you'll see it. Too smart. Too smart for TV. So young and so bitter. Yes?
Me? Young and bitter?
That was my, that bubble inside my head talking.
I heard you sing a few conventions ago, actually. So
It's been a while since I sang in one of these. Not that I'm easy. You didn't even finish the question. You don't want me to sing, right?
Could you talk about your experiences working on North and South, please?
Yeah, I would be happy to. North and South. It was a wonderful year. North and South was a phenomenon. ABC miniseries that was 6 hours, 12 hours? I mean, first was 12 hours, and in the midst of making the first 12, they decided they'd keep all of us on contract and make the next 12. The best thing that happened from North and South, obviously, I fell in love with my beautiful wife, who played Brett, and she was great. She played, Swayze was the North, Patrick Swayze was the North, Jim Reed was the South. I played spineless Stanley Hazard of the Northern family. Swayze was the South, Jim Reed was the North. Buddy Swayze. Hey, buddy. Swayze's a love. Wonderful actor, mad as a hatter, but absolutely biggest heart out there. What a great cast. David Carradine, who tried to fly one night from the roof of the hotel. That was exciting. Leslie Ann Down, beautiful and talented, English Fox. Mary Crosby, aunt of Denise Crosby. Is that right? Mary Crosby, I'll give you another little Star Trek insight. Mary Crosby replaced Wendy Fulton, who's married to Dwight Schultz. Thank God you're here. Barkley. Anybody else? Kirstie Alley. Married to Kirstie Alley. Parker Stevenson replaced John Stockwell. John Stockwell wrote the Babe movie about the surfers. You're all over the North and South. What do you want me to talk about? Parker Stevenson is married to Kirstie Alley. Jim Reed married Wendy Kilbourne, who played the Irish Fox. I married Jeannie Francis, and Leslie Ann Down married the focus puller from the camera department. And Terry Garber, who played the bad sister, married one of the Grips. They're divorced. Everybody else is still together. How about that? Parker's not with Kirstie. No, but they were married before the show. The 3 couples that got married, 4 couples got married on the show, 3 are still together. Parker's not with Kirstie, is she? All right. What do you think of that Kirstie Alley on Oprah appearance? There but for the grace of God, as they say. North and South was fabulous. Charleston, Natchez, Mississippi, where I've had the good fortune to work more than once. It looks like this next Librarian, if this does in fact become the franchise that we all hope it will shoot down in Louisiana. And so get back to having lots of fried food, which is, as you know, good for all of us. I love North and South. I was very proud of that job, and it was a great job to have my job on it, because I was like number 37 on the call sheet, you know, but I still had to be there. I was single, I was young, I was on per diem, which is the money they give you every day to do nothing with, to pay for your food, and I was on hold, which means I never had to work. So I got to go fishing, I got to go out in the river boats, got to drive around and explore, because at 7 o'clock in the morning, if you weren't called, you weren't working. But you had to stay in Natchez. Somebody paid for your hotel room. It was a great gig. That's when acting's fun. Acting is yelling! How are you?
I'm fine. You talked about the first convention that you did. You remember doing your car show in Raleigh, North Carolina?
Wow.
In 1982 or 83?
Wow, that wasn't so bad. I like that in Raleigh.
Norton Arena.
Were you there?
Yes. We talked to you for
I wore a bikini at that, didn't I? Spread eagle on a Ford Taurus? Oh no.
Sitting there by yourself and nobody knew who you were.
Yeah, how depressing is that? Sitting there by myself and nobody knew who I was. I did what the heck was that? In Wilmington, North Carolina, and Michael Jordan was the whatever that's called when you're the head of the parade, and you get the lead, the Grand Marshal of the parade, and it was some big deal Southern event. And I was in a car, I was over the same period of time, and they didn't have anybody's names on the side of the car, so along the parade route, everybody was going, "Who are you? Who are you?" Buy any action figure, get Riker free. I told him I was Mr. G.E. Francis. It served me well.
My favorite episode, my favorite TV show, probably ever when I was growing up, Voyagers.
Oh, God bless John Eric Hexum. Do you remember a show called Voyagers? Oh, what a tragedy. The lead on the show, as you probably may or may not remember, was playing with a prop.
Yeah.
And he was a lovely, non-suicidal man. And the prop gun had a load in it, and he shot himself in the head, messing around, and he died. And I was right next door doing paper dolls at the time. He was, what a loss. He would have been a huge star.
So what can we do to have you bring back Voyagers?
Bring back Voyagers. That's actually a good concept for a series. It's got real life character. I played Charles Lindbergh on the episode of Voyagers you're referring to, and got to wear Jimmy Stewart's leather flight suit for the movie. How cool is that? You want to go back to that Raleigh, North Carolina?
Early episode of Hill Street Blues.
I was in an early episode of Hill Street Blues. See, you got good memories.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard, Jamie Lee Hogg. Hogg's marrying a Duke! A Hogg's marrying a Duke! I did get to roll in the hay with, what's her name, with Catherine Bach. Thank you very much! Hot tub with Marina Sirtis. Roll in the hay with Catherine Bach. Very hard to get by those pantyhose, though, underneath the short shorts. Thank you. I knew that would play somewhere. Yeah, right here. You remember that look she had going? She used to wear short shorts, but she didn't have bare legs. She had pantyhose underneath it. Move on, right? When these things die, they sit there like a lox. Yes. What about the Waltons? You remember the Waltons? Good TV. As opposed to Survivor.
Oh.
No, don't get me. I don't watch Survivor, but I do like Idol. I love Lost. I can't believe they ended the season of Lost in the middle of the fall. What's that about? Okay, I digress. I like Bill Fichtner, too, who was on the show. And now he's on Prison Break. Fichtner's a great actor. What happened to that show? Alien or Invasion? What happened to that CBS show that Brent had with the fox from Spy Girls? Threshold. Okay, I'm fine. Go ahead. Prison Break's a good show. Sorry, I'm using you now. I'm using you now. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I've seen enough Rachel. Go ahead. I'm very sorry. And now I will stop, because I see you getting red and pissed off.
My mom used to watch Next Gen with me, and she said you walk like John Wayne. Yeah.
That's what I've been told. But if truth be told, I stole the walk. You've heard this story before. I stole the walk from an actor named John Cullum. Do anybody know who John Cullum is? He walked like this, pigeon-toed. He probably stole it from John Wayne. John Cullum was in a Star Trek, was he not?
Northern Exposure.
Northern Exposure, exactly. I did a Broadway show with him called Shenandoah, which is a musical. And I had one little scene in the show. And I used to stand, I was very excited. I was doing the doctors, I was doing the soap by day and doing this chorus part of the Broadway show at night, and everything was great. And I used to watch Cullum finish this song called The Pickers Are Coming. And he had a big cigar, and he was about 6'6", and he had the whole stage to himself, and he used to walk around the stage like that. And then for some reason I stole it for record. But I think he stole it from John Wayne. Whew, I'm a little long-winded and a little random today. Thanks for staying with me. Go ahead.
I have a question and a comment. First question.
First question.
Why weren't you invited to the Shatner smear?
Why wasn't I invited to the Shatner smear? It's a very good question. Also, my invitation to the Tomcat wedding must have gotten lost in the mail. A couple things I've been overlooked at. No, Brent was at the Shatner smear, representing all of us, from what I gather. Boy, they were rough on him, weren't they? And they were rough on George.
Oh, man.
Comedy sometimes is not pretty. Second question. You thought I forgot. You thought I
I'm
know.
impressed. I was at one of your first conventions, and I wonder whether you remember the comment. I know you don't remember everybody's comment, but it was in front of like a big group of people. It was a creation convention, and I said to you, being as attractive and wonderful and all that you are, I said, get rid of the bald guy and take over the ship.
Of course I remember that comment. I said, what a brilliant idea! And now I'm the bald guy. I fought for 15 years. It took me to finally get promoted to captain. Stupid Riker, too. Remember in those episodes? He said, all I want to do is captain my own ship. I'm only here to move up and become a captain of my own ship. They offer him his own ship. I'm not ready yet to be captain of my own ship. I want to stay here with my friends on the Enterprise on the TV show. So I made the mistake of telling Mike Pillar this, the late Mike Pillar, may he rest in peace, that that Riker looked stupid. You know, that we said one thing and then he did another thing. So mysteriously in the great Borg episodes, another Star Trek connection, Brian Dennehy's daughter, Elizabeth Dennehy, which, see, it all comes back around. All those ships that I was offered, the Titan, or not the Titan, it's almost so, they all mysteriously blew up. And I had a clean slate. Still had to wait another 10 years to get the Titan, yeah. Not only an episode of Quincy, 2 episodes of Quincy. One of them with, date you, one of them with Neil Young's ex-wife, who is?
Carrie Snodgrass.
Very good for $500! 6 degrees of separation. That's very impressive. Quincy. Quality television. Yes, sir.
Quick question. Since you're on a TV bit, have you seen the new Battlestar? How do you like it? And can you direct it? Direct the episode.
Yes and yes and yes. I think the new Battlestar is great. I met the Fox last night who plays Starbuck. It was also great. I'm a huge Ron Moore fan. As you know, I helped him, encouraged him to come over and help us save Roswell. I think he's got one of the best looking shows on TV. And it's a certified hit, is it not? I mean, I think it's wonderful. I think it's better than the original. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's shot, and I love the way it's written. And I'm ready to go up and do a couple episodes. Give him a call.
You did a 7th season show called Genesis, I believe. It turned into Caveman on that episode. And you still walk like that.
I hope you got that shot. Genesis, I'll tell you this little, I'm sure somebody's already told this story, but I'll tell it anyway. Because you like to hear the stories out of school, don't you? Yeah. Gates, Cheryl, don't call me Cheryl anymore, my name is Gates McFadden, directed Genesis, and we all went sort of primordial, did we not?
Yeah.
Back to our animal state. Gates thought it would be a good idea if, in the corridors of the Enterprise, there would be little animal droppings. That makes sense, doesn't it? Perfectly good idea. Burma didn't like the idea. I thought, Gates, you're thinking. I like that. No, she said, no, they'd be different sizes, different color, like different animals had shit on the floor. And then, you know, close-ups, inserts, if you pardon the expression. So, there's a little bit about Genesis, but that wasn't what you asked, I bet.
Well, there's no bathrooms on the Enterprise, then.
What's up with that? No bathrooms on the Enterprise.
You never see them?
You never see them. You never go there. Where do you eat? I mean, the whole thing with that thing with all you can get out of that damn Earl Grey tea out of that box on the wall. That whole part of the show, I don't get. I'll catch up, yeah. I'll be right there. I gotta go. I don't get it. Are you leaving in a huff? I'm just getting to the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, which genre do you prefer to be behind as a director for? And if it so happens to be science fiction, what kind of project would you be looking to find next?
If I had my druthers, if I had my druthers, I'd rather have my druthers than anything else I know. Who knows that show? God, that's great! Was that you? Well, you'd rather hustle, accumulating muscle. I'd rather watch daisies grow. I played Little Abner. Could you tell? This is a very smart audience. I'd like to do a comedy. I know I'm thought of as a very serious young man. Old man. Nothing I'd rather do than a comedy. I was trying to get that wonderful movie that they showed here over the weekend, Galaxy Quest, which I think is genius. And I think captures our lives as if they had been reading our mail. And I was submitted for the show, and they say, Frakes can't do Galaxy Quest. He's not funny. That would have been a great movie for me.
Yeah.
It ended up being a great movie anyway, but... No, they don't send me scripts. Yeah, you can send me a script, by all means. In the
Another great Star Trek story I've heard you tell through this convention is your dip in the black Metamucil.
Oh. You want me to share that one with you? Yeah. In the first season, I think it might have been the episode that we lost the lovely and talented big-butted Lieutenant Natasha Bukiyar on. What was that episode called?
Skin of Evil.
Skin of Evil. You thought I didn't know. Skin of Evil. Riker, stupid Riker. There's a huge pit the size of this stage, filled with black goop. Riker's supposed to get into it and get sucked down into the primordial ooze. So as I'm sliding into it, like an idiot, Riker's really, or Frakes, one of the two of them, is like Mikey. He'll try anything. Give it to Frakes, he'll try it. Oh, okay. Sure, you want me to get in that black pit? What is it? They said, oh, it'll be fine. It's Metamucil and black printer's ink. So cool. Let me in. So I get in the pit of black Metamucil and black printer's ink, wallow around. One great guy named Will Toms was with me the whole time, was one of our special effects guys who was with the show throughout. And he'd been in there getting this ready. You couldn't see his skin. It was gone with printer's ink. His face, his arms, his clothes were ruined. And I thought, I've got all this to look forward to. So I'm in there for the day. We do the scenes. And then they say, very cavalierly, they say, take Frakes down to the company shower, which is down at the end of the lot where they build stuff. And, it's like the eye wash place in the shop. So I'm sitting in the back of a truck because I'm too filthy to get in anybody's car. I'm hanging off the back of this tailgate of a truck covered in Metamucil and black printers. And I've got some assistant director with me who's tailing me, as they always do. They follow you into the bathroom, by the way. Don't let people tell you they don't. What are you doing in there? We need you now! I'll be there as soon as I can. Anyway, I'm taken out of the shower in the back of his pickup truck, and I'm washing the Metamucil off and washing the black printer's ink off. And I think it might have been the same director as sent me to the hospital. Said, get Frakes back here, we want to get him back in the pit. And sure enough, I spent the rest of the day with him. Oh, that was glamorous. Was that the show where the holodeck doors open and there's a huge rolling field of green? That's when old Baldy came, because we were, frankly, very, very depressed about Denise leaving, because she was a member of the family and she had made this choice to say to Roddenberry, write more for me or write me off the show. And so ironically, they wrote her fabulous stuff to do just before they got rid of the character. And one of the things we had, I think, was her funeral, if I'm not mistaken. And we were emotionally attached to each other, we were all a team, and it was kind of sad, and actually it was very sad. And Patrick, in an attempt to lighten the mood, came out of the holodeck doors, and there was big rolling hills of green, and he sang, "The hills are alive." True story. Am I getting the hook already? Where are your shoes? Yeah, I can understand. I'm the same way. Yes, sir.
How do you like being called Babyface Riker?
I wish. Babyface Riker? When was that? 87. Those are the good old days. I'll take Babyface Riker any day of the week. Hello, dear.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Peachy.
I was just wondering, I didn't have a chance to ask you the last time I saw you, but how did you get the role of Riker?
How did I get the role of Riker? Not easily. At the time that Star Trek was coming onto the air, it was the first made directly for syndication television drama. So instead of being made for a network like NBC, it was made for Paramount. And in as much as it was a big studio decision, it cost a lot of money to make, and they had big plans, and they sold the commercial time with the show so they could make all this other money, and it was a big Megillah, which is leading to the fact that I had to audition 7 times over 6 weeks to get the part. Auditioned for the casting director, then auditioned for Gene, then auditioned for Rick. And by the last 3 or 4 times, I was auditioning for the people who actually were running television, running Paramount. And to prepare for the auditions, I used to go to the late, great Gene Roddenberry's office. And Roddenberry, who loved Riker, he sort of saw himself, I think, in Picard and Riker and Wesley. He had sort of the 3 shades of who Roddenberry was. He took me under his great big space bird. He had hands the size of most people's legs, and he'd wrapped his arms around you and said, "Jonathan." Actually, that was Patrick, wasn't it? Jonathan. He said, "Jonathan, when you go in there this time, I want you to remember," because he really believed in the future of hope. And he used to say, "In the 24th century, there will be no hunger, and there will be no greed, and all the children will know how to read." And I thought, if Gene believed this as strongly, it was his sort of magic that allowed me to get the job. May he rest in peace as well. The late, great Roddenberry. So each time I went to the auditions, I had, as most actors do, you think that you've got like a lucky thing going, like with a shirt. And I had this weird sort of metallic green shirt that I thought somehow looked spacey, future-ish. So I wore the same shirt to each of my auditions. And like a baseball player, you don't change your shirt until you start to lose. So by the 5th or 6th audition, the shirt was pretty ragged. I used to walk out of the closet itself. Time to go, see if we get that Riker job. And you know who the other Riker guy in the final draw was that wonderful actor who played Rocketeer. William Campbell! You win! William Campbell was the other Riker finalist. You knew that, right? No. See, that's why you come to these conventions! New dish! New dirt! Whether it's true or not. William Campbell played
O'Connor.
The outrageous O'Connor. You thought I didn't know that one too, didn't you? But no, I knew. Didn't I, Bob? Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Jerry, and I'm from Muncie, Indiana.
Very nice to see you.
Thank you. With Riker being a character who was known as the womanizer and an appreciator of beauty,
Well put.
how did you feel when you read the script where Riker falls in love with an androgynous
Outcast. Outcast. I remember that episode. They thought they were being very edgy because it was meant you couldn't tell what the sexuality of was the character. But you notice they cast a woman. They didn't have the real guts, which would have been to cast a man and have Riker fall in love with a man, and then that would have been a whole other story. I thought that was I actually liked that episode. I thought it was, oh my God. I thought that was very smart. You want to dance? You want to fence? Any of the above? I thought the show took great chances when it had a chance to, and I was very proud to be part of it, and I thank you all very much for coming. I could tell I'm getting through all this.